very warm welcome to Bophelong. My name is Puleng Molebatsi, here to report on positive and uplifting news. Thank you for tuning in today. In South Africa, 4 years after 6-year-old Michael Komapi fell into a pit toilet at his school in Limpopo, a 5-year-old Viewer Jali was found dead in a pit toilet. Today, we are not only creating awareness on this issue, we're also urging you to participate in protecting and improving the lives of our children in schools. We here on the show joined Amalulu, a toilet manufacturing company, on their recent intervention at a primary school in Limpopo. Please be advised that some of the visuals are unpleasant.
Manamani village is one of the areas affected by water shortages in rural Limpopo. Water scarcity in the villages and neighboring areas often leave the locals with very few options on its usages in their household. The water shortages have played a big role in poor sanitation in the area. The use of pit toilets have become the only option and often lethal one for children who die by falling in the pits, as well as contracting illnesses caused by poor sanitation. This primary school accommodates over 600 learners who make use of these pit toilets. To some who don't live under these conditions, the lifestyle here is inhumane. But for the learners and educators here, they have learned to make do with what they have. Grade 7 English teacher Lawrence Nemebaka has been with the school for 28 years and has seen the school through its slow development.
All of the same height? No. No. Are they all of the same height? No. Yes. Hey. I like the way they're standing. I started teaching in 1989, and in this school here, I came here in 1990, which means almost 28 years in the very same school. When we started teaching here, there were no formal classes. We used to attend classes from the shacks. We used to attend classes under the trees and stuff like that. Toilets, there were no toilets at all. The community just tried to build one toilet there for educators, one toilet there for learners. It was very tough when we started.
His passion to work with children has carried him through all the years of struggle.
You cannot be a teacher if you're not, number one, passionate about learners. If you don't have love for children. So I love children, and I like to play around with the children. You see, when you see children playing, children are very much innocent. And we must try to mentor them so that by tomorrow they become the good adults. Today we are here pulling, tomorrow we are not there. These are the futures of tomorrow. So that is why we have to mentor them, we have to love them, you have to show them love, because some of them are from maybe their environment at home is not conducive enough for them to learn. Some parents don't know how to handle their own kids. Some are being abused at home. Some of them, they sleep with empty stomach sometimes. So when they come to school here, they must feel that love. They must feel that here, environment here is very much different from the environment at home.
It's the passion to educate the young ones that saw him through the worst period when there were no toilets in the early years of the school.
They used to stand maybe under the tree, or they could go and hide behind the classes under the bush and stuff like that.
Although change came about over time, it didn't present major improvement in the learners' lives.
Since the advent of democracy, that is where we started to have maybe a decent toilets and stuff like that. Because by the time when they built these blocks, the blocks that you see behind you, that is when they started building even the toilets. These blocks that you see behind you, they came with this new toilets that you see around the schoolyard.
Due to the influx of learners at the school, the few toilets that were built couldn't accommodate the high number of learners at the school.
These toilets were very clean initially, but you see, our population in the school here is too big. We've got more learners running about 670 something learners per school. So you can imagine such a population. They will also go and make some mess at the toilets and stuff like that. From there, they will avoid going to the toilet because you will see some messes here and there, some feces, smelly toilets, urines and stuff like that.
The school principal, together with the staff members, looked at means to maintain the toilets, but that didn't eradicate the problem the school was facing.
Time by time, we're having parents who used to come to volunteer to clean the toilets. But just because the enrollment was increasing yearly by yearly, then they are coming to school for maintenance was not really a greater problem.
Over the years, the toilets became a place the learners did their best to avoid. Some learners would relieve themselves outside the toilets. Most affected were female learners who needed a place to change their sanitary pads.
This one is what? Now you spoke about something that touches even our heart. That's very painful. Because when these girls are on their periods, it's very much painful. Before we can come, how do they dispose their sanitary towels? Some of them, they are not even aware that today is their periods day. You will find them just sitting at the classroom. They will avoid going to the toilet because they know if they could stand up, they would have left some mess there. But those who got the know-hows, they will try to compromise and take this and that and then throw them at the pit toilet because our toilets are the pit toilets. We don't have flushing toilets here. These are the pit toilets. These elderly mothers here, as I said, these female educators, they will help them here and there. They will buy them some sanitary towels and they advise them how to use them and how to dispose them.
For over 28 years, Teacher Brian had to use these toilets at this section, which is allocated to teachers. But just a few feet from the teachers' toilets is the learners' toilets, which became a place everyone at the school dreaded to use. Their luck was about to change. A corporate company was about to bring them a change they only thought would come in the distant future. A representative from Amalulu first visited the school to meet with the principal to discuss the donation of toilets they were planning for the school.
Thank you so much.
It really is heartbreaking, the conditions that the children at Manamani Primary School live in. After the break, we change the state of the toilet at their school. Stay with us.
SABCnews.com is your one-stop digital portal to all the news you need. With a website that is easy to use on mobile, SABC News prides itself in being the primary source of public service content across multiple platforms. Watch live streams of all the big news events on the SABC News YouTube channel, which is one of the most viewed South African YouTube channels globally. And catch up on the best of SABC television and radio news. Follow breaking news on all of the SABC News social media platforms, interact with SABC News on Facebook, and stay connected on Twitter for the latest headlines and real-time updates by our reporters. SABC News, everywhere.
Welcome back to Bophelong. This part of the show really captures the heart of what we always advocate for here on the show. Social issues are best overcome when we all get involved. In this particular story, we witnessed Amalulu donate 25 toilets at Manamani Primary School. Here is what took place.
The pupils at Manamani village in rural Limpopo rely on education to get them out of poverty and give them access to live in developed areas where sanitation is managed and controlled. Until the time comes, Amalulu, a company that manufactures toilets, will provide them with decent and dignified toilets.
You see, this area is underprivileged. Most of the people here, they are unemployed. They are not working. Their parents here, they are not working. So some of them, those who can, they will go around maybe Shandima, maybe around Tuando in town. They will go there seeking jobs so that those who can have their own time, they can have the little bit, the mere grass salary, that they can help these learners. That is why even most of the learners here, you will see them barefooted. They don't have school shoes. They don't have a school uniform. Education in this village is a priority because today they have seen the results of education. We have got so many learners who have attended school here who are today, working very nicely. That is why even behind you, we got one of the best admin block that was donated by some of the learners who attended school here.
During the assembly, the learners were addressed about the developments that will bring them much needed change, and they were thrilled to finally be relieved of the current state of their toilets.
As a company, we've been approached by the SABC to specific the program called Bophelong. And after they've approached us with the sponsorship, on Thursday I came last week to visit the schools, and we have identified the school through other reference from other primary, secondary school. Today we are going to hand over the toilet to the school. So the principal is going to represent the school and receive the toilet on behalf of the learners. Amalulu has donated 25 toilet units for the learners. So I think that the 25 toilet units will cover almost 676 learners in this primary school.
Mpo highlighted the often overlooked issue of poor sanitation in South Africa.
I think the state of the toilet when I arrived here to do assessment, it was really horrible. And it was not good to be utilized or to be used by the learners. So it was not really good in terms of promoting health and hygiene of the learners. It really, you can see that the way the toilet the condition was, it really, you can see that they are transporting diseases to the learners. That's why I think as a company, after the assessment, we have decided to partner with SABC to support the school with the toilet. I've seen the West done this because I always work around our communities in all provinces. And I think this is is also West, because obviously the best sanitation is the best sanitation. Because sanitation is not only about the hardware, there are issues that are very important in sanitation. It's more about health and hygiene. So the sanitation must really provide dignity to learners. It must also provide privacy to learners. And it must also promote health and hygiene. So based on that, yes, it was really horrible because there were no really health and hygiene benefit out of those old toilets. I think the state of sanitation in South Africa, most in rural areas, I think we still have a long way to go. As South African, I think government is committed to address the current sanitation backlog. But the problem and the challenges that are there is just the coordination on how do you work together, stakeholders, to address the problem.
The labor to erect the new toilet sits with Mpo and his team, but the real work comes from the school to teach the learners about the importance of hygiene.
Our school is doing its best to educate these learners about hygiene. We are doing our level best as a school, even to advise these adults, learners here, how to maintain proper hygiene. That is why we've erected even the taps around this toilet, so that when they come from the toilets, priority number one is hygiene. They must try to wash their hands. We have tried to tell them even in the assemblies that each and every visit to the toilet, it must be accompanied by washing their hands after visiting the toilet.
While Mpho and his team got to work to complete the building process, the learners continued with lessons, but this time the tune in this particular class was much different than before. What was taking place outside their classroom would be the beginning of something better for the learners here.
When we return, we found out from the little ones how they feel about their new toilet. It's amazing how a small gesture can have a big impact in someone else's life. Let's take a quick break. We are back with more when we come back.
Very good morning to you, and thank you so much indeed for choosing Morning Live.
But I want to know the basic thing.
Griselda Lewis, SABC News, in Parktown, Johannesburg.
Zimbabwe, Mzondeli Mbeje, SABC News, Luanda, Angola.
Let's take a look at your market indicators.
Thanks for staying with Morning Live. Let's bring you your sports news.
Let's take a look at your satellite image.
Set the agenda for the day with Morning Live.
Corruption both in the public and the private sectors needs to be combated.
Where there are clear cases of wrong that has been done, that must commence immediately.
Something is being done about corruption in our country.
Currency, even although it strengthened dramatically after the ANC's recent elective conference, could conceivably go stronger yet.
He had a soul that would not be for sale.
Stay tuned to Your World for your final news roundup, Monday to Sunday at 21:30.
Technology is used for both positive and negative. Some governments block the internet in times of protest.
With this internet blackout, it's impossible for me to do it, so I have to travel to Douala.
This act is a true violation of the rights of citizens.
In Africa, people are always coming up with innovative ways to use technology to solve some of their problems.
The more interesting piece of technology is actually the artificial intelligence.
AI, it's utilizing data to make your life easier.
On Network, we'll give you Africa's technology and social media news.
Catch Network with Spumelele Zondi every Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Welcome back. As we celebrate with the learners of Manamani Primary School about their new toilets, we hope that this story inspires ideas on how we can all tackle poor sanitation in schools. Have a look at this.
The day had finally come for the learners at Manamani Primary School to receive their new toilets. But before the school received an official handover, Mpho had to give them a crash course about this type of technology of toilets.
Our technology is a dry sanitation system. You separate your human solid waste and liquid or urine. So it's easy to manage it because it's just dry. That we also, our technology does not really encourage water inside. So that's why part of our user education, we educate the beneficiaries or the users not to pour water inside the pit. Because once you allow water inside the pit, it becomes a storage, a fecal sludge. So it becomes a problem in that case. Because if there's a water inside the pit, it really invites sanitation-related diseases. So that's why it's a dry sanitation.
The substructure or pit structure provides safe storage of feces with no underground water pollution. The pedestal design ensures complete separation of fluids and feces at source, which ensures a complete dry aerobic composting system. It also has a built-in child safety seat and lid. Hand wash facility. The hand wash facility is located inside the toilet and provides for the washing of hands under running water with soap, resulting in extreme health and hygiene benefits. This system can also operate without any water.
It also provides both the bottom structure and the top structure. Now the bottom structure is where we store the human waste. It's like a contain. We contain the human waste, and the people that are trained, they are able to manage what is inside the pit. But it's difficult to allow anything to be outside the pit, like the feces to be outside the pit, because that also it imposes a danger to the learners, because these things need to be installed or need to be contained inside the toilet.
Dry sanitation is an answer to the main problem faced by the locals here in the village.
Sanitation is not about flushing, right? Sanitation is about health. Sanitation is about dignity. Now, in this case, the people in this area, they don't have water for drinking purpose and the cooking purposes. So they don't have sufficient infrastructure to support the waterborne system. So that's why we have introduced a dry sanitation system for them, which really does not really need water to operate. Because the sewer or the waterborne system, if there's no water, you can't access the toilet, you can't use it. Because it relies on water supply. People are not really educated how to manage those pits, right? They throw anything inside the pit. Water, the grey water, they throw, pampas, everything inside. So if they see the toilet, it's like a dumping or a dustbin where they can put everything. So that's why I think education to me is very important to the users. People who are receiving any services from the government, any infrastructure, any facilities, we have a responsibility to educate them how to look after those facilities, how to manage it.
During the demonstration, Mpo takes the educators through the process of water usage with this type of toilet.
That reservoir is meant for hand wash facilities, where we encourage that people who are using the toilet, after they've used the toilet, they must wash their hands. But that water, it goes below the pedestal. We have what you call a separator, an ecological pipe, which goes outside. And one of the things that we normally do, we encourage even the school to start a backyard gardening at the back of the toilet, so that we use that urine and that water to irrigate the vegetable garden.
The toilets also provide privacy for older learners who need it.
The old toilet, most of the doors were broken. Some of the toilets, there were no doors. Obviously, if there were no doors, really it compromised privacy and dignity of the learners. Now, with our technology that we have donated to the school, it restores the privacy and the dignity of the learners, because the doors are designed in such a way you can lock it while you are inside, and you can also lock it while you are outside. So there's a locking device which provides privacy.
The time had come for the teachers to tackle down the information to the learners. The joy of finally receiving the bare necessities was irresistible.
Oh, guys. Oh, you are so smart.
It's a very great relief. That's why we are saying to SABC and its partner, we are very much thankful, because now to us it's only maintenance, and I think we have got the backing of the community when it comes to maintenance. I think we won't have any problem anymore.
You see, we don't have even ways to express our gratitude. We don't have even ways to express the happiness that we feel inside here. So we said, oh, Amalulu, may God richly bless you with what we are doing. This initiative, it will go a long way for our learners to help to learn how to use toilets, for the learners to have proper sanitation.
This one is definitely rewarding. In honor of Michael and Viwe, no more young lives should be lost due to this. Let us know how you are doing your bit to protect the children in your area. Thank you so much for watching today. Until next week, it's a goodbye from us here on the show.